Gentlemen, alright, so I said I was done, and then I realized that there were 2 more dimensions in my shelter in my pack that I completely spaced. So, here we go. I've got my clothes that I wear while moving. Like we discussed, I got the waterproof breathable layers. I've got the sleeping pad. I've got everything we need to set up, you know, in 10 minutes wherever we are, as long as there's some flat ground somewhere. But over the course of these 6 months, when I'm traipsing through the woods, I may find a particularly sweet spot that I need to stop at for a while, and I'd like to have the tools and the ability to improve that spot. And that's where all this shit comes in. I don't carry all this shit, but these are all the shits I've tried to use, and I'll explain to you why I do or don't use them. Alright, guess we'll just go left to right. Knives. First of all, knife. If you're without a knife in the woods, you retarded, bro. You retarded. This is just a Winchester knife. This thing's probably about a decade old. It's great, and lengthwise, it's almost too short for doing the things that you need to do, like batoning wood. You know, you'd only be able to baton like maybe a 2.5 or 3, maybe a 3-inch piece of wood with it. It's a little too flimsy. You can see the spine on it. I'm scared to put anything up to the goddamn camera because I think it's going to blur out on me again. Because I need to get one of those cameras where I can see what the hell I'm fucking filming, but whatever. The next knife I used, well, so I went upgraded. This is the Gerber LMF2 ASIC knife. This knife is a workhorse. It's a bomb diggity. It's an awesome knife. It's badass. It is heavier. I went for it because it's got a thicker spine. I don't know if you can see that. I hope it's not blurring the camera. This is a 12C27 steel, which is, it's different kind of steel. It's harder than the stainless 440 steel or any of those others. I don't remember their names off the top of my head. I'm not a fucking steel guru. I just know that I like this steel, on the Gerber LMF2, a whole lot better than I like this steel. This holds an edge forever. Forever. It's not as flexible, though. It's not as flexible, but I didn't really have a problem with that. And I may yet end up switching back to my old friend, the Gerber LMF2. That may happen. But for right now, I use the Becker BK2 Companion. I like this knife. It's got an even thicker spine, almost too thick. I can't imagine what the hell you would use that thick of a spine for on this short of a knife. I don't know. But for some reason I like it. It gives me comfort. This thing is totally bomb-proof. I wish I could put it up to the camera. You would just see all the nicks and scrapes and cuts and marks on it. I've only ever sharpened this thing with a rock, you know, and it works fine. And the reason I like it, and the reason it's in the EWLS pack, is because it's multi-use. I use this thing all the time, consistently, as a hammer, as a shovel, as a hatchet. It's got this little thing right here. I go do a little loopy-loo right there, twist it around a couple times, and now I got a hatchet. Give it one more twist there. I got like I mean, you can really hatchet shit with it. It's not, obviously it's not as good as a Grand Force Brux, but it works. It works well. I have kind of a philosophy as far as shelter building is concerned. If you're doing anything over like 3-inch branches, you're doing it wrong. You're just wasting time and calories and energy, and those are all precious things when you're living out of a backpack. You don't need anything more than a fucking teepee or a lean-to, even if you're talking about like extended stay type shit. Okay? The type of wood you make it out of is much more important than how thick the wood's going to be. This is just a little thing. This is how I prefer to carry my there we go. My BK2 Companion. The sheath for this thing blows penis. Not this sheath, but the belt attachment. Horrible. So, I don't know. The problem with it is it hangs off. Like, the center of gravity for it is, like, right down here, and it hangs off your belt. It's not like a stiff sheath. So it just hangs there, and this thing wants to always bang inward towards your leg and outward like that. So, in the ever-loving, wisdomic words of keep it simple, stupid, I just put a sling around it, and I like to carry it like this. It's always available. It's always here. You know, I can draw with both hands. I can draw overhand, underhand. It doesn't flop around too much. I don't know. I like it. I like it like there. It's just always right here where I need it. Even when I'm sitting, whatever I'm doing, boom, it's right here. I got some Ranger bands on here, which are, for those who don't know, just cut up tires. I used to hate Ranger bands. I used to call them little gimmicky things, but I've come to see the use for them. And here is one of them. I just put a little fire steel in there. There you go. I don't know if you can see it. It's a little fire steel in there. So now whenever I got my knife, I got, you know, at least a shower of sparks. I'm not totally up shit creek without a paddle. So this is the knife I carry. It's heavier than the Gerber LMF2, but the thing about the Gerber LMF2 that really turned me off about it was I was batoning some wood one day, and I don't know if you can see it in there, but it has a plastic sheath. Oh God, I'm scared to go towards the camera. That encompasses the actual blade that is underneath this outer handle that you can see. And I didn't realize that until I was batoning some wood one day, and I just beat the shit out of it, and it broke. And now the blade has a little wiggle to it, a little wiggle. Functionally, this thing's still good. I mean, this is a workhorse, and it works great. But that kind of shook my faith in the Gerber LMF2, I'm not going to lie. And so I went for a more bomb-proof option, and that's what I got. So that's the knife I carry. Knife, regarding shelter, is used for, obviously, batoning wood to make fire. There's two aspects of shelter I forgot, and that's building a shelter, like a lean-to or something out of fucking wood, and fire. So you use a knife for both those things, obviously. The second thing that, oh, and the shovel is great. This is a Gerber shovel. I think it's a Gerber. I forget. I don't know. It's great, but it's not multi-use, so it's not in the fucking... I mean, well, it is multi-use. It's not multi-use enough in, like, the primary main categories I need it to be multi-use in. Yeah, it'll dig holes. Yeah, you can hammer shit with it. Yeah, you can use it as a frying pan. Yeah, maybe as a saw. I tried to sharpen the little bladed ends there. Yeah, you can maybe use it as a fucking saw. But it's too heavy. It's too heavy because its multi-uses aren't, like, good enough. They just aren't. So you're out of here. I use this thing as a shovel all the time. Like, if I'm digging up onions, or if I'm making a hole for tent pegs or some shit like that, or if I'm covering up my shit, this thing works just fine. And again, the blade dulls quicker on this steel. I forget what this is, the 1040 carbon or 1020 carbon or some shit like that. The blade dulls quicker, but it sharpens a lot easier, so I can sharpen it with rocks. Just random rocks you pick up. That's great. I don't need to carry a sharpening stone. So shovel's gone, because I use that thing for a shovel. This is what I would carry with me in addition to a smaller knife. Probably a knife about this size, a more wieldy knife, if one of the conditions of the bag wasn't that I want it to be capable of stealth camping. That kind of blows this thing out of the window, sadly. This is a Grand Force Brux hatchet, you know, small forest axe, whatever. I forget what it's called. Bought it a long time ago. Used it, great, loved it. Love hatchets, totally see their application, but goddamn if they're not noisy when you're out there and you're like... You're not going to be stealth doing that, I guarantee it. Chopping firewood, not a stealth thing to do. So it's gone. When I baton wood with this thing, as far as the stealth aspect is concerned, you can stick anything up. You stick like a piece of wool. Wool doesn't work very well because it falls apart easy. But I got those OD green. Where they go? I got these OD green cotton bandanas, and when you put that over it and then baton wood with it, you can. I mean, it's muffled. You can barely hear it. It's not bad at all. You can't do that with a hatchet, unfortunately. So hatchet's gone for stealth. Hatchet, small forced axe, whatever the fuck you want to call it. I'm not a nerd. I'm not a nerd Nazi word, smith. If you couldn't tell. I carried around, but you need to be able to cut wood. If you don't have a hatchet, you need to be able to cut wood. You can, in a pinch, hatchet off limbs with this thing, but it's a pain in the fucking ass. So, and the hatchet use out of the BK2 is better left for like little things. Like, I think the only time I consistently use it for a hatchet is when I cut off some tent pegs and I'm just trying to sharpen them real quick. I just give it like 2, 3, 4 whacks and I got a sharp tent peg drive into the ground. So, if you want to cut limbs, you got to carry a saw of some kind. I thought about carrying a buck saw. I think it's too heavy. Again, back to that philosophy. If you're building a shelter out of anything over 3-inch diameter wood, you're fucking doing it wrong. This can handle 3-inch diameter wood easily. So this is, in my opinion, all I need in my EWLS pack. This is the Fiskars Gerber pruning saw, 8 inches or something. I don't know, it says Finland on the back. Maybe it's made in Finland. And this thing served me well for a very long time. But I didn't like how flimsy the blade was. And truthfully, that has never given me a problem. I've bent the blade a couple times, but I just bent it right back. And everything was cool with the saw. So, you probably can't see, but you can see it, where it bent a couple times down there. But I threw it out in favor of the famous... the one, the only, the Baco Laplander saw. This thing is heavier than that thing by a couple ounces, but much more bomb-proof. The blade isn't nearly as flimsy as that one. I know it's flimsy. You can bend it, but it's... I don't know how to explain it. I guess you'd have to be hands-on. It's thicker. You can still bend it, but it's thicker, which is great. And the teeth are set up so that it cuts on the side. If I rake my hand across here, you can see it like cutting my hand, and that makes cutting with this thing so much better. So that's what I carry. That stays in. You're in. You're out. Gerber LMF out. Love you, buddy. You're out. BK2 and saw. Winchester knife out. Now, that's all I carry for cutting fucking wood. Just these 2 items. That's it. That's all I've ever needed to carry. I've never had any problems. I've been able to put up expedient shelters really quick with them. So, the next dimension of shelter that I forgot to cover is fire. And the reason I forgot to cover it is because one of the stipulations of the pack is I would like to be able to go, of the EWLS system, is that I would like to be able to go without fire for as long as I can. I realize that I can't really go without fire, but I'd like to be able to go for as long as I can. So, this is my fire system. Oh, well, we'll get to that later. It's pretty simple. You gotta have a fire steel, fire rod. Use these things. They're great. I know how to make fire with them. But honestly and truly, you're just a fucking moron clinging to some romantic ideas if you don't use a Bic lighter. And I carry 2 of them. They're... I don't throw them away in the woods or anything. It's not like I trash them when they run out of fuel. But this is like the crowning achievement of humanity, guys. Like, for real. Like, I have this thing that I can pick up. Boom! Fire! Where the fuck I want it, I got fire. I don't need any wood. I got fire. It's burning right there. If you go into the woods without this, or yell at people that go into the woods without this... Wait a minute. No, that's what I'm doing. I'm yelling at you for going into the woods without it. Well, I'm still a moron at yelling at you for it. We're all morons. We're a bunch of morons, but you're more of a moron if you go into the woods without this lighter. If you're one of those fucking snobs who's all like, yeah, make fire on the fire stand. Good. Great. I'm glad that you are propagating the principles of bushcraft. I think the principles and ethics taught by bushcraft will save the world, quite frankly. I think that's what the world needs. Conservation, respect for the environment, you know, all these things are taught by bushcraft. Wonderful. But that doesn't mean you have to be a fucking dick about it, dude. Nor does it mean that everyone that goes into the woods is trying to be a fucking bushcraft master. I don't understand where this fucking idea comes from. Anyway, off the soapbox, 2 Bic lighters. This, again, is one of those PDKs, and this is my tinder box. These PDKs are waterproof. I dropped them in the water quite a few times, and they always come back. Nothing inside them's wet. I think I got some usnea down at the bottom of there right now, and some cottontail fluff. Also, I have this. This is a little BB pin tin I picked up with a Ranger band on it. I use this for 2 things. One is, as you can see, like any kind of grease from any animal you're gonna kill, you can stick in here and make a little candle lamp. I've successfully made wicks out of this cottontail stuff, so there are natural wicks that you can harvest from the environment. You don't have to carry around a bunch of cotton wicks with you. And fat, obviously, is going to be in any animals you trap or kill. We'll get to that in the food section. I also use this. You can clean it out and use it to make char cloth. There's a hole in the top that I put the wick through, and that hole in the top also facilitates the manufacture of char cloth. Boom! And that's what I carry around, so I always have some dry tinder or some dry char cloth or something. Fire is important, very, very important, obviously. If I could have only one thing in the woods, it would definitely probably be fire. So, that's it. This is my shelter kit. This is what I build shelters out of. That's fire, that's everything. Again, these are twisted, braided, they're not twisted, nylon, tarred nylon cordage, trot line or something. I don't know. I got it from Bass Pro. Bass Pro sells it on their website. I got it after watching old Dave Canterbury talk about twisted nylon cord. And that, combined with my experience of eroding paracord, pretty much exclusively made me carry this. I like paracord for some things, like obviously handles, you know, and stuff like that. Anyway, I digress. We're on a shelter kit. I use these to bind as lashings, obviously, for shelter. And that's it. Now we have really concluded my shelter. That's it. That's everything I got. That's all I'm working with, baby. I feel good. It took 3 parts. One of the videos is blurry. The other video is poorly shot. And the third video is just like a tag. This video is a tag on of shit I forgot about. But, you know, we got it all up there. And if you have the fortitude to stick it out and listen to it all, then you're good to go. All the subsequent videos are going to be a lot shorter than this. This is me, again, just trying to cram all my shit, and all the reasons why into, like, apparently it's an hour. I did guess it to be about an hour in the beginning. So, there we go. That's it. Next I'm going to do water, because that's going to be fucking easy.